All right, guys, we're back today. Sunday, 19.3 was released 2 days ago, and so we're going to be going over a little bit of 19.3 strategy or things to think about. A lot of people do probably better breakdowns on strategy than I will do, and then I want to talk to you guys a little bit about CBD oil, something I've been promoting on my Instagram a little bit, and something that I have a pretty good discount going with a company called Revive CBD. They're in Australia. I'm not sure if they ship internationally, but for all you guys in Australia that interested in CBD oil, especially like a hemp-derived CBD oil that's 99.99% pure and legal in sport, and if any of you of the guys that get drug tested at work won't make you test positive, has no psychoactive agents in it because it's from the hemp plant, not the marijuana plant. We'll go over that and you can check them out. So, first of all, 19.3, changing the pace of the open. And I thought that in my last video, I didn't post that video. I said that we'll probably see a bit of a leaderboard change to some extent, having like two workouts that really favor strength and height and weight in the past two workouts, being on the row or the wall balls and then really the cleans. And now we've got a complete lower body straight into an upper body split. And really the sticking point for everyone is going to be those handstand push-ups and the handstand walk. And mainly the handstand push-ups, because even if you can handstand walk, you might not be able to handstand walk well after you do 50 strict handstand push-ups. I think it's also the first time we've seen strict handstand push-ups in the open, and they've completely gotten rid of any of those like weird measuring things that they were using and just gone to a game standard, regional standard with a box. Keep your feet on the wall. Don't let your bum touch, which I think is way better. Not that any of the other ones gave me particularly any dramas, but I know like there's a bunch of mutants out there that have all weird length arms and stuff like that, so I think it makes it more accessible to everyone. I've seen a lot of people complain about that handstand walking and just a 5-inch razor is all that's on the scale, even for like the 65 plus masters, so that's interesting. But again, they have that tie break time at the end of the step up, so I guess it's just going to be a race to the step ups, race to the end of the handstand push ups. So now a little bit, so we're going full lower body, then full upper body, and we're not kipping or doing anything like that. So there's very little use in our lower body at all in the second part, unless you're really straining and tensing your quads in your handstands and your handstand walks. So you can really afford to send it as hard as you can to go to muscular fatigue, if you can even get there in that first part, so long as you can keep your heart rate down. So something that people might be not thinking is like all legs and then all arms. I'll just go 100% and send it. And then what they find is they get into the handstand push-ups and their heart rate doesn't get down. And that actually brings all that lactate. And because their heart rate's too high and they're not aerobic anymore, and they can't get back down into that aerobic area and really clear that lactate fast that they've accumulated in the first part, the lactate just comes straight up and actually goes into your upper body. So we're not clearing it, we're just shuttling it straight into our upper body, and that's not what we want. We want the only fatigue in our upper body to be coming from the stimulus of the upper body work, being the handstand push-ups and then the walk. We don't want lactate coming from our legs and our lower body up into upper body and actually fatiguing us really quick. So you might find that, like, I know if you guys have I've done it once. I'm doing everything more than once this year because we can go straight to the games now from the open, and I want to do that. You might have found that you hit that first set of handstand push-ups, they feel really good, first set or two, and then you get hit by a brick wall and it's like you're blown up and you don't know why. It could be that going on. So you've have that heart rate a little bit too high and you've fully sent it. And now all that lactate that you think, oh, it's just in my legs and I need my legs. And that's true, but now it's coming into your upper body and it's affecting your performance. So you want to get rid of that. So if you want to think about like the step ups, you can't really go too much fast. You can go slow, but you can't really go so fast that you're going to get a super huge lead on anyone, because you have to stand up, you have to alternate your leg, you have to lock out your hips at the top. It's not like you can just like box jump real quick. So maybe like push on the first 25, and then the second 25 you really want to focus on getting those big breaths in, getting that heart rate down. Even if you're still working, getting your heart rate down. So focusing on those big breaths, slowing your breathing rate down into a breathing pattern that you're going to be using when you handstand push-upping. Yeah, strict. So your handstand push-ups aren't going to be like off the chain. You're going to have a nice breathing rate, like breathing in as you're coming down, exhaling as you're pressing out on that handstand push-up. Get that breathing rate early. So same sort of thing if you've ever done any sort of running and cycling. When you finish your cycle, the last 500 meters or the last K, you might actually gear down or gear up and get your RPMs up higher, similar to like a running stride. So if you've been cycling at like 75 in a high gear, and you gear down and you start getting that RPMs to like 90, because that's going to simulate your running. And what it does is just gears your breathing, because your breathing is going to be different at a higher RPM, and it gears your muscles for those. So same sort of thing there. You want to try and set yourself ready for those handstand push-ups. Another thing to think about. I just had a conversation with someone who said, I did it again. I had handstand push-ups in bigger sets this time, and I actually only saved 1 second. Well, no. He got to the handstand push-ups 30 seconds quicker and only got off the handstand push-ups 1 second faster. So he actually was slower, even though he did sets of 5 the whole time. Now, something to think about is if I do a set of 5 and then I rest 5 seconds, or if I do a set of 2 and I rest 5 seconds, or whatever, if I'm on the wall and my set of 5 handstand push-ups, every rep takes me 4 seconds, like boom, rest, boom, 4 or 5 seconds, versus like 2 quick ones, I'm actually going to be on the wall twice as long. Even though I'm doing bigger sets, my reps are twice, 3 times as long as they would if they were short. So you might find that if you can keep your reps actually shorter and faster actually through the repetitions, you're going to be quicker even though you break it up more. So that's something to think about when you're working out your redo. Rather than being on the wall and like staying there, boom, grinding it out, and a set of 3 or 5 takes you like 20 seconds rather than set of 3 taking you 10 seconds. So another 3 taking you 10 seconds, you get 6, 9 reps in the same amount of time you did like 7. So think about that. Try and work it out to your best advantage. For all you guys that are handstand push-up ninjas, that not going to fatigue, that not going to bother you that much. Keep them in the, those blocks of whatever you're doing, 7s or 5s or 10s if you can. And then what you guys want to be thinking about is making sure that from the first set to the last set, you come off and you look at the clock, and your clock rest time is exactly the same. So when I do my redo tomorrow, that's all I'm changing. Is I just went by feel on my breaks through my handstand push-ups and my breaks through my handstand walks. Now my breaks on my first few sets of handstand push-ups are probably a little bit too quick, and then a little bit too slow at the end, even though they're only maybe maximum 10 seconds. I reckon if I kept 5 seconds from the start to finish, I'll end up being 20 seconds quicker. Same thing on my handstand walks. I was resting about 10 seconds in between each length. Now I take that to 5. And then already I finish in 9:28. That will get me under 9 minutes. So for no extra actual work, it's just like monitoring and being strict on your rest. So you're seeing that theme in a lot of open workouts. Usually it's not like changing a whole lot in how you execute, except for being strict on your pacing your rest. So think about that. Handstand walk. Now, if you're pumping through this workout, so let's say you're going to finish it, your heart rate's probably going to be pretty high, even though we're working on trying to keep it low. When we kick up in that handstand, our shoulders are jelly. Your midline shouldn't be too taxed, all right? So when we go into that scorpion position, we let our feet flop over like that. What you want to think about is our head is here and our feet are here. So it's making this big C shape. And if you just do that, even if you stand up or lay down, do a C shape and then try and breathe, you're really stretching out your midline and like compressing everything really tight. And it makes it hard to breathe in. I just do like this. It tightens everything up, lengthens and squeezes everything. So one thing you want to be thinking about is if you're going into too much of a scorpion, and sometimes that's just they don't have any choice. That's how they handstand walk, or they're tired. So when I'm trying to go really fast and I'm tired, I'll throw my feet forward and they'll actually pull me along. But if your heart rate's too high and you can't breathe and you're not getting oxygen, you're going to be fatigued. So at least, yeah, you can hinge from the knee, but you need to keep your hips stacked above your shoulders. So the issue where we drop our hips down and our glutes and our hips now drop above our back of our head like this, and then all of our midlines in this area here, we're getting really like squeezed, and then we can't breathe, and you get like, I know anyone that walks to handstand fatigue and you start to get really tight here. Same thing like I've experienced when you're doing a lot of wall balls, you start to get and you can't breathe. You need to get those hips back over your shoulders. It's fine to throw your feet from your knees, from your knees, not from your hip. From your feet, you can throw them, and they can like a counterbalance and pull you along. But it was when we start to drop our hips forward as well, then we can't breathe, and we get to the other side and and then we need to catch our breath back rather than actually breathing the whole time. So that's something you might want to practice, is where the position of just sagging or keeping my hips active over my shoulders and then just bending from my knee and letting my feet drive forward, which can help you, your feet pulling you along. So it's not a bad thing to put your feet forward, but it is a bad thing if we're letting our hips drop. Because you need to breathe. It's 200 feet, 60 meters of handstand walking, so it's a lot. Think about it. All right, that's all I've got for the 19.3. Other than that, it's just capacity. Do it, be strict on yourself. Got my 4 Sigmatic coffee. Mushroom coffee. CBD oil. Man, I put up a post about this, something I use. Revivecbd.com.au is the guys that I use. I think they're from Brisbane. I've got a code to get 30% off. It's Notorious, spelled exactly like my YouTube or Instagram. Just Notorious, 30% off everything you buy. They got a bunch of stuff there. So get the same questions over and over and over. And the biggest one is, is it banned in sport? And it's something that I looked into a lot. Now, THC is banned. A lot of cannabinoids are banned, which is what you get from THC. So if you go into WADA and you search cannabinoids prohibited in competition, you pretty much see everything. The following cannabinoids are prohibited: natural cannabinoids, cannabis, hashish, marijuana, synthetic cannabinoids, THC, blah, 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 except cannabidiol. Now, cannabidiol is what's in CBD oil, so that is exempt. So the only thing that you have to make sure is that you're getting a good quality product. And I would say try and find something they take from hemp, not marijuana, plants, and that's going to really, 99.99% pure is what the stuff I use from, and it's from hemp. And so, you're not going to have any issues with that. So you probably pay for what you get what you pay for. Now, how does it help? What can it help with? Mainly, I use it for anti-inflammatory stuff. I've read and listened and heard a lot of bad things about fish oil. Not that a fish oil is bad, but in getting I've heard really bad things about like a lot of fish oil being rancid, and especially stuff that it's easily to buy unless you're buying it from somewhere really, like on the internet, some place that you trust. And there is a few, if you look at like Ben Greenfield stuff that he uses, it's super expensive, but all the brands that we seem to use, like, they seem to be bad. So I've never really felt the difference with fish oil, to be honest. Take it or don't take it, just makes me burp, smell like fish, and it sometimes upsets my stomach, so I'm not a fan of it. I'd rather take like blue-green algae tablets and stuff like that, because I think, you know, if you look into it, fish are only like that because they eat the algae and blah blah blah, and you can actually take the algae or the whatever, and you get the same effect. So CBD oil, I use it for the anti-inflammatory. It can help with my mood. So times of high stress, high training volume, and I'm getting real tired, I tend to get like a bit cranky, and I get very reserved, and I mean, you could even say depressive. And the CBD oil helps me with that as well. Helps me with sleep. To get, not, doesn't put me to sleep, but it helps me go into a deep sleep. Like I said, there's no psychoactive, so I'll take it in the morning, I'll take it at night, and it's not like it makes me tired, but it just, once I go to sleep, I seem to go into a much more rested sleep, and I wake up less. So especially now at the moment where I am, it's humid. I drink heaps of water, so I'm waking up all the time in the night, and I don't want that. I'm having richer dreams, all that sort of stuff. So I'm in a nice deeper sleep, waking up way more revived. So it can help with that. Now you can go right into it. I'll put it, so netdoctor.co, I'll link it. They go through what the benefits are, helping anxiety. It's a natural antidepressant. Can help with epilepsy treatment. Can help with acne. Can help with pain relief from cancer, stuff like that. So how does it help? How does it work? I'll link another one, whybiotech.com, how does CBD work in the body? And I'm going to have two little things that pop up in this video that shows you like how it works. But basically, like in our synapses, we have like receptors, cannabinoid receptors, which are there. This is why when you smoke weed, you get high, because it's actually affecting those receptors in the synapses and altering stuff. We also have CBD receptors there that interact when we take the CBD oil, obviously. So it's actually happening at a synaptical level. And then the CBD oil will attach to like fatty cells, and it will go with the lipids, chaperoning the lipids into the cell interior, and it delays the adenosine uptake in the cell, and the adenosine uptake is what's responsible for this like cell inflammation. So it delays that and helps that. Like I said, I'm going to give you a little pop-up thing. You can look at it yourself, and I'll link the stuff in the description. But I mean, there's a bunch of different reasons why people use it in different doses, and you can go right into it. I mainly use it for helping with my moods when my energy's low, helping with my sleep, and getting rid of my inflammation. I find it helps heaps for that. So hopefully this will answer all your questions. I'll also put a little post up on my Instagram about this video, and that's us for the week. Cheers, guys.